Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
The Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke grass. Lodgecast, missing movie pass. Lodgecast,
We're gonna watch some crap.
Lodgecast.
And then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 155. The Pope's Exorcist. Hello and welcome to a holiest of holy editions of the Lodgecast. I'm your Lodge Master. With me, as always, is Brother Bishki.
Forgive me, Father Amorth.
In the way back, we have Brother Lucas.
I'm a the Pope and I want to go to the zoo to see the monkeys do it.
And on this supersized episode, we have returning champion, Brother Justin.
Amort.
And Brother Zach.
Blessed be thy bones.
And an especially blessed return of Sister Devi.
Devil's in the house.
Oh my God. What a packed cast tonight. And this movie we're probably going to be talking about this movie more in depth than anyone on the planet, even the filmmakers, while they were making it. It's called The Pope's Exorcist. And the only reason we are here tonight, other than to welcome Sister Devi back into the fold,
Woohoo.
is because we covered the facts that this was based on.
In the documentary, The Devil and Father Amorth, episode 006. Go back
And listen to episode 6.
It's fun.
And
It's
I
fun.
did.
It's fun.
And I did this afternoon.
As did I.
How did it fare? What did you glean from that?
Lodge
shit?
Master, your tone of voice sounds like you just survived a plane crash on stage.
Yeah.
Like with not a scratch on you, wandering out of a cornfield before and after the movie.
Oh my.
I think what the listeners need, if they get anything,
Yes.
is if you could play the clip from episode 006 where Bishki breaks down the Amort line
Okay, yes.
and the pandemonium that it causes in the Prius at the time.
Yes.
Absolute bedlam.
To me, Friedkin is like a Werner Herzog figure, where because the way he talks, because the way he conducts himself, he's got a flair for the sensational that's just ridiculous and silly, and I just enjoy it.
How does that translate to bones?
Two
though?
bones.
No.
What? I'm not giving it I'm not saying go out and see it. Definitely don't go out and see it.
No.
But throw it out on
Sleep on it.
Throw on your Netflix.
No.
No!
If you want to go
That
to
shouldn't
sleep.
even be on Netflix. It's going to be buried in Amazon Prime at best.
If you want to go to sleep.
It's good. It's good. We have some disagreements here.
No, you're being
God.
provocative on purpose.
Controversial.
I
Historical.
I was jogging and listening to that episode. I have a vivid memory, and I just collapsed into laughter. I had to stop. And listening to it today, it also got me again to the point where, like, this is why I tune into the Lodgecast every Thursday. It's the Amort episode.
That's right.
And
yeah.
Zach coined the Amort line.
Yes.
Which is two bones. Which
Two bones
Can't
to
believe you, Bishki. You are
a
a trickster. That's where the trickster was born on that episode.
kind of was.
It's a dubious rating because there's a trickster gleam behind it. When Bishki drops two bones on a wild piece of shit, you invoke Amort immediately.
Yeah.
You're having I think Vietnam flashback where you're just getting pissed preemptively.
You also invoke the Amort line when someone goes below 2,
right,
and you got to put them in check.
And you say you're going below the Amorth line with this? Really?
It's like the equator. It's like the film movie watching equator.
So to be a listener and to be a dedicated listener of this humble podcast, you need to know all about this extended, expanded, fucked up universe.
Because Beyond My Two Bones, it was given by Lodge Master, Brother Justin, Brother Lucas, and the bad boy, Brother Jonathan, all woofs.
All of them.
Yes.
Because it deserved
Rightfully.
it.
Righteously.
But
devoutly.
Plot twist. Sister Debbie, you watched the documentary.
I did. In
The Devil and
preparation for
Father
tonight.
Amorth. And what say you about it?
You know, I watched it in my parents' cave bedroom in the basement of their house.
Perfect place.
Yeah, all on my own. And so it was an interesting mental place for context. But I will say that I quite enjoyed it in moments. I did enjoy the long form boredom of these interviews.
That's exactly right.
Like I really love this idea of monotonous evil.
Yes, very monotonous.
And I liked like the brother-sister conversation and the slithering on the ground description that keeps coming up. And I like a description where you're forced to imagine. What can I say?
Now,
I might have given it 2. I might give it 2.
See, listen to that. That's crazy.
I know, I'm on your
crazy.
team. I'm Team Bishk.
But just so people know, just so people understand. Now, Zach, I'm guessing you didn't do your homework and you didn't watch the doc.
Because
that's all I need to hear. I told you to do it.
No.
Because we're about to discuss the ending of the documentary.
We will, but hold on.
Yeah.
The reason is there are certain movies that accrue such a warmth of nostalgia watching through the Lodgecast.
Sure. Now you're buttering us up.
Well,
I like
to
it. I'll
watch
take
it,
it.
to actually watch this piece of shit.
30 pieces of silver.
It would just degrade
Seeing the
my
movie
memory.
is beside the point.
Listen,
I kind of enjoyed it, Zach.
It's not too bad. It's Friedkin.
Well, what I wanted to know, one other question I
It's
had,
definitely
Bishke.
weird, which I like.
Bishke, you mentioned how you wanted, there was a special exorcist that you mentioned in the episode. Some kind of rock star exorcist.
Bob Larson.
Oh, Bob Larson, yes.
And you were going to take fellow lodgers to see him.
Yeah, it's been 5 years and I
haven't quite done it yet.
Okay, that was my question.
But we need to talk about this ending of the quote-unquote documentary. It's where esteemed director William Friedkin is going to go meet with the subject of his exorcism in a church. And for some reason...
By himself.
For some reason, I forget the reason, but the camera, he didn't have the camera, or the camera didn't work.
He conveniently, absent-mindedly...
In air quotes.
Was in so much passion to get there and see or talk to whoever, he forgot it.
So what he has to do is describe what happened in the theater, which is the woman was...
It's like I caught a fish this big.
She was slithering across the ground.
This is where I lost it listening to the episode.
Speaking in tongues.
It's
It levitated off the floor.
Because
the
now
wall started spinning. Wind was blowing in my face, and I heard a voice say, "Friedkin."
When you're listening to the Lodgecast episode, you're listening to people describe
the description
of shit you cannot see, and it's just beautiful.
It's a pain
of a fire.
And now we're describing our descriptions of the description.
Yeah.
So let's pull ourselves out of this time loop.
Well, just in case, it's on Tubi, okay? So if you want to fire up Tubi, it's also on Crackle, but if you want to fire up Tubi, just search Devil and Father Amorth.
I would just like to remind everyone that it's in the theme song, so you don't have to.
Right.
Literally, we're telling people they don't have to watch the movies.
True.
This might be one of those.
The promise of the premise, Justin. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. Now, Sister Debbie, you did some other preparation for this.
So I did.
And can you tell us, how dark did you go here? What did you do?
Well, this afternoon, I sat on the couch on a rainy Los Angeles afternoon and watched the original Exorcist.
Yes.
The 1972 film.
Amen.
It was the first time in 15 years I've seen it.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
And that's all I'm going to say right now, right?
Sure. I
Okay.
mean,
I'd love to talk about it to you.
Once we see whatever the fuck we're about to see, we can bring up past satanic victories like The Exorcist.
Let's just say people smoked a ton of cigarettes and that my jaw was on the ground several times.
Well, hopefully tonight, I mean, it's Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Late period Russell Crowe.
Well, I heard someone recently liken Russell Crowe to our generation's Richard Burton.
Interesting.
Which felt real nice.
Yeah. Instead of booze, it's like Subway sandwiches.
I mean, I think it could be booze also.
He smells of cold cut combo.
Yeah, the last time we saw him, he was big and sweaty in Unhinged, which was shot at the Mission Tiki Drive-In, deep in lockdown.
Deep in lockdown. And the only thing I remember about that screening was that there was a group, like a soccer team full of young girls that were like having a birthday party at Unhinged.
Yeah.
I'm like, do they know?
That is some Lynchian, like Edward Hopper, Nighthawks, like painting Nightmare come to life.
It really was. And it overshadowed anything from the movie. But I digress.
Only in lockdown.
So Russell Crowe's back. And what the fuck?
Well, Friedkin has nothing to do with this.
Friedkin
correct?
has nothing to do with
Except in
this.
title.
In the Venn diagram, Father Amorth is in the center of, he's on one side and this is on the other.
Is Crowe Amorth?
Crowe is Amorth. So, I mean,
Also, if I can set the scene a little bit too, this parking garage is going to need a fucking exorcist because I don't know. This is like summer blockbuster traffic.
there
right
are
now.
so many cars pulling up behind us thinking that we're going to get out. But they don't see all the microphones and they don't see us laughing our asses off. We ain't moving anywhere, folks.
No
I've
way.
been
We're camped
screaming
out.
Amort at people and they don't get it.
Amort! Amort!
People are here for Amort. They're
They
here
just
for
hear abort.
Super Mario. They're here for Beau is Afraid, which is opening tonight.
Yeah. Is there anything before climbing those sacred steps that we need to discuss about what we think is going to happen tonight? Or are we just going to let it wash over us?
I think I just have one thing to say, which is if you told me back in the original Father Amorth days that someday Academy Award winner Russell Crowe would portray him in a theatrical like Hollywood movie, I would have laughed in your face and just called you crazy. But now in the age of the Chat GPT Midjourney, like this is the future, folks. So buckle up, like it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
There is something full circle, 5 years of Lodgecast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on this episode, Brother Lucas mentioned something very similar about, Friedkin's destination himself,
Right.
making that low rent video journey with Father Amorth. And now the same fate has befallen Mr. Crowe.
That's right.
And it's just what Amorth does. He brings the boys back in under his spell, and they can't leave well enough alone. And
No.
here we are.
He possesses them.
I feel good about it.
All right, let's go get possessed, y'all.
I feel like it's going to be two blondes. I feel good.
In the name of the Lodge Master and the Lodgecast and the Movie Lodge and Father Amorth, let's do it. Love and light.
Love and light, y'all.
Right.
Oh, your car got mags, zippy dippy dippy dope, but the whole damn nation got the same. Honey, only flock to the bee that's supporting not the president with government lane. Put me on a slow-moving parliamentary hacking bandwagon. You can put me little ass in the grave. Every time you want it, I'll be live, bring a date. I mean computer when it's over, press save. So you can be the president. I'd rather be the pope. Yeah, you can be the side effect. I'd rather be the dope. The Pope.
Oh my, what a sacrilegious meatball. We are back from the Pope's Exorcist. Oh my God.
Holy
guys.
Tomodi.
We got to set the scene for this one before we even start talking about one frame of this film. I mean, that theater was packed to the gills with all kinds of
It was
people,
a full congregation tonight
all walks of life.
Packed
at our
theater.
church, which we passed through the Super Mario Brother green tunnel to enter into.
And tonight's movie, our movie, was in the one, the only haunted motherfucking Theater 13.
Theater 13.
Lucky 13.
Hollow 13. I
Oh.
feel like the AMC manager who programs these movies knows exactly what they're doing. Like that is not a coincidence.
I don't even think this film would have shown up on any other screen. It had to have that Theater 13 special sauce to it.
I've only been in Theater 13 with you guys. Both my episodes.
You
actually.
brought it
You're
here.
the one.
Yeah.
The catacombs of the AMC.
Yes.
It warmed my heart that people spilling out of our theater and Super Mario Brothers were all talking the same. Hey, it's a me at the Pope's Exorcist. Where's the Luigi?
And our theater, I mean, what
Charged up.
just
I mean,
electric.
Like just
I think it's opening night.
Was tonight
level-
opening
level
night,
of the
Bishki?
Yeah, I think it's opening night. So I
Okay.
think people were buzzing. They were like,
The
"This."
boys next to Bishki and I,
Oh,
What was
man.
going on over
they
there?
were giggling like,
like men possessed?
look, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
And this had some ticklish moments, but these boys were like acting like it was the funniest fucking thing they'd ever seen in their
Yeah,
life.
Giggling like
the whole
choir
way
boys.
through.
There was such a spectrum of reaction. We had people that were laughing their asses off, and we had people that were taking it seriously, and I like to think religious seriousness.
They were yelling.
Some shushing.
and then there were some
Shushing
people
Catholics.
that had these wet hacking coughs,
Yeah.
like where people were like maybe
I mean-
possessed with like some leftover COVID or
Yeah,
something.
fuck demons. COVID was in the room tonight. You can feel it. I hope we're okay.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of crowd too where if somebody gets up to let somebody into an aisle, it's like glass bottles fall over.
And there were a lot of phones in the first half,
And a
just
lot
like
of
torches,
ins and
like
outs.
just flashlights, in my
flashlights
face.
flashing on the screen where people were trying to find their seats. Very leisurely. Very leisurely.
moseying, ambling along.
And right off the bat, we were like, you know, the opening credits were happening, and suddenly there was a jump scare from the audience because a woman was just like, "Shut off your phone!"
Yeah,
And I
like
thought
she
it
was possessed.
I thought it was in the movie. I was like, "What?"
She was like, "The power of Christ compels you
to shut off your phone."
No warning shot. Usually you get a warning shot.
Yeah,
No,
you
that
get a loud
right to
shush.
the screen.
That was crazy. That was some alpha move right there.
I mean, we're already dipping our toe in the holy water. So before we take one step further,
Fishy! What's that shot?
From Rotten Tomatoes. Inspired by the actual file. From Rotten Tomatoes. Inspired by the actual file.
I'm not editing anything.
An exorcism gone awry.
You can do it.
From Rotten Tomatoes. Inspired by the actual files of Father Gabriele Amorth,
Yes.
Chief Exorcist of the Vatican, Academy Award winner Russell Crowe. The Pope's exorcist follows Amorth as he investigates a young boy's terrifying possession and ends up uncovering a centuries-old conspiracy the Vatican has desperately tried to keep hidden. Period.
All right. Concise, professional schnapps.
Yeah.
There was no indication at the beginning that this was a true story. Are we to believe this actually happened?
every word of it is true.
Are
all
you
of it.
calling Father Gabriele Amorth a liar?
I never would. I never would.
I think it was based on, very loosely.
based on like
His books, they're good.
There's a lot of mythologizing going on here, guys. I
Oh.
mean,
well, a lot of things that happened to him also happened in the movie that Sister Debbie watched earlier this afternoon. That's a lot of exorcism for one day, by
Yeah.
the way. I mean,
Tell
there
me
was
about it.
so much from The Exorcist in this. So did Father
We also
Amorth?
watched the Nathan Fiu episode of the
Oh,
realtor.
the real estate
that's a
exorcist.
4-bone one.
Yeah. The ghost real estate agent.
So did Father Amorth go see The Exorcist and then, you know, smoke some opium and then write some shit down? Because there's head turnings and there's
The crab
pukings
walk.
and
Vomiting
there's
on
crab
faces.
walks.
the swollen throat.
Yes, I mean,
The scary
in silhouette.
There's fuck me. No,
I am Legion.
yeah, there's a lot.
Well, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? Not include some of that stuff?
Right.
It was a
When
lot
you
of
put the word exorcist in the title, there's some hallmark moments that we need.
That's
Yeah.
true.
The drop in temperature.
I mean, I don't know what I expected from this, but it wasn't this. It was not what we got. I think I expected something a lot more bargain basement.
Same.
Than what unspooled tonight.
Yeah, I was very taken by it. I was like, this movie had no business being as entertaining.
No
as it
business.
was. Like,
Yeah.
I had a hoot.
I mean, Russell Crowe is having a blast.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say there's, I can't imagine another actor who was better suited at his age to play Father Amorth.
He has that
He nailed- he knocked it
twinkle
out
in
of the
his
park.
eye.
Guys, Russell Crowe is Father Amorth.
Yeah. He's taking the spirit.
I mean, he is a twinkle in his eye, absolutely, just licking his chops. And I mean,
it's infectious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there was another actor, a lesser actor, what is this movie without Russell Crowe just driving us through
he is the love and light of this film.
Driving us through it on a Vespa.
Yes.
Oh man, something out of a Wes Anderson movie, but totally straight here.
Well,
Just, like,
because
completely sincere.
We've got very dramatic score pumping.
I was loving the score.
And he's cruising up to this castle on the Vespa, and I'm
in red socks.
I've got these giggling like middle schoolers next to me, but I couldn't resist. Like they were kind of sucking the laughter oxygen from me at times.
That's
and yet
tough.
it was so funny.
But it was strong enough to break through.
I broke through completely.
Justin, what was your
compelled me.
Vespa pun?
The alternate title for this should have been The Vespercist.
There it is.
Thank you.
The sight of Russell Crowe in his fucking hot dog and sunglasses riding through the streets on his Vespa, it's just gold.
It's chef's kiss.
It's chef's kiss.
It's perfecto.
Bishki, you got to get all the gifts from this.
So
I'll
many
just get
gifts.
raw footage of, and the one GIF we have, we
Yes.
do have in our GIF collection a GIF of the real Father Amorth doing the cuckoo.
Doing his classic finger, thumb on the nose and fingers up.
And one of the first gestures Crowe does is cuckoo.
And we all just Leonardo DiCaprio pointed at the screen. We're like, that's the gift. That's the gift.
We're sick.
And he does that move like 5 times throughout, and it's always a delight.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not expect Russell Crowe to bring it. I did not expect it to be intentionally funny. The Father Amorth presented is a jokester.
Yeah.
And he has some huge actual laughs in the movie. But also it's the 80 for Brady principle where it's a cycle. It's like people are laughing at it, with it, and then you laugh at the people that were laughing with it, and then there's another faction that laughs at those people. So it's just this laughter in the round, and it is wild.
Yeah, I was laughing the entire time from the get as soon as he like was on screen. Because it's just like it's so good. Like it's just so good.
He sounds like
a spicy meatball.
Like a spicier Marlon Brando from The Godfather. They kick it off with him doing like a pretty crazy exorcism where he sends a demon from a boy into a pig, and then somebody just shoots the pig, and then it's like, boom, the title.
Solid.
Clapping.
Solid.
Audience erupted.
Yeah, the audience, I was like, wow, we're at this kind of a screening.
And then somebody behind me was like, stop clapping. Like there was this
yeah, there was a tension. Absolutely.
And
Stop laughing. This happened to me.
It was it's a delicious tension where you really don't know what this crowd is going to do. It's a moving target. You can't pin it down. There were just like wild sounds that people would make. It's like when you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're like running down the street and you run into just a random NPC on the street and they're like, hey!
Yeah, there's a lot of demons in Theater 13 tonight.
You just hear people go like, oh, or no. Like what are they doing? What's going on here?
It felt like a ride. It felt like it should have been a 4DX ride.
Right.
Like at a certain point, I was like, man, I wish I was getting the mist and the strobe light right now and the seat shaking.
Oh, the Devil's Exorcist in 4DX? Come on. So wet.
The Devil's 4D Exorcist.
Justin's on fire.
The dad jokes are just flying left and right here.
Justin's on fire tonight.
But the thing that was kind of wild to me, and I think you touched on it earlier, is the production value was a lot higher.
high.
I just,
Oh, man.
they're, like quite large
It was beautiful.
sets.
Yeah,
Dude,
beautiful.
they got the
interior
Pope,
sets
on
were
screen,
wild.
played by Franco
Stunning.
Nero, which was like another chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Yes.
Franco Nero. Yeah, he's up
Just
there.
And that
bringing
was-
his
and-
A game gravitas.
Oh, when he
the original
opened-
Django.
When he opened his mouth, the kids next to me were beside themselves. They were absolutely beside themselves
Well-
every time he was on screen.
One of the things, it's like, I usually am pretty upset at like haunted house creep around movies, because it's just like you're just walking around a spooky house, creaky floors, it's too dark,
There's always a pop out
and
or
you
a jump
just
scare.
fall asleep. But this one, like, the production value was high enough in this giant fucking castle that this family has inherited,
A holy building.
a holy building, an abbey.
Yeah, an abbey.
And the lighting is such where you can see everything, like sometimes that's bad in a horror movie, but in this there was plenty to show off, so I was happy that I could see everything. It added to the fun for me. Plus, it's not just a creep around movie, because you layer that with the fucking Exorcist riff that they're doing here.
Beyond Russell Crowe and Franco Nero, though, we're dealing with some pretty lightweight actors.
Sure.
Wait, what about the mom that was from Starry Eyes? What's her name? I enjoy her face. I enjoy
She
her,
was
her
working.
subtlety
I mean,
of reaction.
Yeah.
She was going for it.
But like for Crowe's right-hand man,
Oh man, he looked like Father George Santos.
I was gonna say he looked like George Santos mixed with Marco Rubio.
Oh, it was so crazy,
Jack
but it
White.
still somehow worked.
And Jack White, yeah. Like he did what he could, but it would have been nice to have like a little more spice there.
Mm-hmm.
But he and Crowe had a good byplay. So what happens in this movie is the mother who moves into this abbey, her son gets possessed. And this kid, I mean, he was tasked with, they replaced his voice, but
That helped him.
But he was moving his mouth to some of these crazy words.
Yeah.
Was he not completely CG at that point? He looked like Mithrigan.
Yeah.
he got
Or
more,
sculpted.
he got more sculpted as it went, but initially when he gets possessed and he sounds like a Cockney gangster from a Guy Ritchie movie, like I was with him. He was, a movie like this can really sink or swim on the afflicted tot. And this kid, I thought, brought it. I mean, what do you guys think of the kid?
Yeah, I mean, every time someone in an exorcism movie starts speaking in the demon voice, my brain immediately, I understand the original Exorcist predates this, but my brain is like, oh, I'm about to watch Evil Dead, but no fun.
Right.
And which is exactly where my brain went when that kid started talking. And then it really won me over. I'm like, oh, it is going to be fun.
It was kind of fun.
After watching the original so recently, as in today, watching Reagan and her
from Reagan to Megan.
Yeah, her reactions, her speech, her
her MRI,
obscenities, her MRI.
He even had an MRI in this.
My jaw was on the ground so many times in that film, and this kid and this, I don't know, the CGI, my jaw was not on the ground for him ever.
Yeah.
I was never shocked by him.
Right. Even when he's groping his own mom.
Nah. I mean,
old.
no.
I mean, they could have pushed it further. I mean, this is not a PG-13 film,
The thing that I kept thinking about is like, we are on very familiar territory here. There's a
Right.
kid in a bed. He's got a problem.
A big problem.
And then he's going to talk some shit that he and only he knows about our priest heroes.
He's going to shake the priest.
And then the priests are going to hold up some relics, say some prayers, and it's going to be a battle of words between these two forces in the bed and standing over the bed.
Yes.
Yeah, for a good hour.
And that's
I
what we
mean,
got.
and that's what we're working with here. And that's not the makings of a high action.
No.
And yet, we've got catacombs to explore.
Oh man, Indiana Bones.
Yeah. There was a plot twist in this that felt like somebody gave Damon Lindelof $100,000 to come up with something to set this apart, which is the guy who started the Spanish Inquisition was actually possessed by a demon.
Right.
Thereby kind of absolving the church of this massive
that was
stain
some
on their
wild,
history, which came out of left
There
field.
was also an implication of the demon being responsible for sexual misconduct.
Yeah, which was just like
Which
a
is
weird
another
throwaway line.
absolution.
Threw that in there.
Yeah, as long as we're absolving for sins, right?
It's like everything bad that's happened, and there has been a lot. That was just evil.
That was
one
one time I
demon.
stole the collection plate. It was a demon.
It was a demon. What can I say? Yeah, that shit was hilarious. And I don't even know, like, the audience was so punch drunk and delirious by that point that I don't even know if they registered it.
No,
but,
I registered
we're just piggies at the slop, man, at the trough, just eating it up.
Why was
it was absolving the sins of the church.
Yeah.
What we find in the catacombs, as we go deeper and deeper into these large, giant, Atmos-filled, sets.
Yes.
There is a master exorcist on a throne.
Yes.
Skeleton.
With a staff.
With a staff and his journal.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why is he on a throne?
Mm-hmm.
What is that room?
Surrounded by markings like the like the pentagram markings.
What's up with the throne, man? Like, why? What is he, a king down there? What's
we're gonna have to see the prequel for that.
Well, you need.
I mean, it's a nice set, but I don't.
Well, no, you need to
Demon
take
working
the
for
head
demon
of his
working for
staff.
demon.
You take the head of his staff, then you put it in the door, use it as a key so you can get to the next level. Have you not played a Resident Evil game?
I mean, and by the way, let's talk
Not even
about
to mention
that key.
the crank.
Let's talk about the key.
Yeah.
When
the key.
Russell Crowe reaches into the rib cage of the skeleton
Indiana
to
Bones,
get that
baby.
key and the pleasure he gets.
He punctures the stomach and he's like, ooh.
He gags.
Forgive me.
Forgive me,
He
my
straight
friend.
up gags. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, usually it's when they go in these kind of movies when they're like spelunking around in the catacombs. That's when I'm like, fuck this. I'm out. But I was leaning forward. These were some quality catacombs.
Yeah, I was there for it. When I knew they were going down, I was like, yes, like let's fucking
That's
go.
crazy. I usually hate this shit.
Because Crowe, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Crowe is making this so fucking watchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the audience just feeds into it because we
Oh,
all
God.
wanted him to go.
He makes you
go
really
down
comfortable.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I know we said he was a lightweight, but his helper guy, I think, added a lot to it
Good
too, because
foil.
he was such
Counterbalance.
He was the innocent guy who maybe wasn't so innocent, but he got to play off of him comedically a lot, especially when he was gonna take his confession before the festivities.
I wish he was gay though. Wouldn't that have been so much
Oh,
better?
that would have been way better.
Like George
The
Santos.
Catholic Church had to like sign off on this movie.
No.
Okay.
Catholic Church isn't quite aware of this. But there was also some great imagery with Russell Crowe's traumatic memories and nightmares of being in the war and having all of his friends die, and then a cardinal landing on his leg, and then the cardinal becomes a recurring motif. And this former exorcism that he semi-performed, this woman bites its head off.
He gave up on her.
And he gave up on her. And so she keeps appearing to him, just chomping down on this cardinal with cardinal feathers going everywhere. I mean, that's a vision. Like, visually, this had plenty to look at and plenty to enjoy.
This director is far more talented than what was required here. I mean, for what this is.
is.
Yeah, there was a lot of Italian spoken in the movie too, which was surprising.
A ton. And they're always like, we must speak English now. And Russell Crowe's like, and like, they're like, no,
in Latin.
They're like, no, English. He's like, okay.
The
okay.
back third of the movie, they just gave up on Italian altogether. I don't know if you noticed. They're back in Rome. They're speaking English like it's,
But you see that Russell wants to speak. He would
absolutely.
love to speak Italian the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. So what else was going on? Now, Sister Devi, you were taking notes.
Yeah, right.
What were you gleaning from this? It was so funny because like somebody on screen would just puke a bunch of blood on somebody, and I'd look over to you and you'd be like, yes, and you take a note. What were you coming up with?
Well, there were so many references that were fun. When the mom, that actress, sinks into the bed, that Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good callback.
Yeah, really beautifully done. But I really freaked out near the end. I don't know if we're ready to talk about.
We definitely are.
Yeah. So there are these two female figures that come up throughout the narrative of the film, right? There's the lovers.
Yes.
So little Jack White had
George Santos, Marco Rubio.
maybe I'm being too generous. Yeah, had a lover, secret lover that the demon calls out as his sin, and
He calls him a panty sniffer.
and she comes around a couple times. She's topless and covered in blood, and that's great. And then there's this other woman that Russell Crowe is lamenting the death of. That also is very sexy, and they have a sexy moment.
The cardinal woman.
Yeah, the cardinal woman. And it culminates in the end. And of course, the demon's final form are these sexy women.
Yes.
This is a salad dragon.
That they,
Yeah, are we calling this? We'll just have this be the catch-all salad dragon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
agree.
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
I was delirious with this scene. I mean,
man.
Paint the picture.
Okay, so there's, of course, this demon is the final version of this demon, that there's like the final level, the final countdown.
Yes.
They know his name. Apparently, once you know the name of the demon, that's like all you need.
He says that like 50 times.
I just
We
looked like
need
I
to
thought it
know
was
his name.
Smogus.
Yeah, they lay out the rules a lot, really heavy.
I just kept hearing, rock me, Asmodeus. Asmodeus, Asmodeus.
Oh yeah, all the music cues throughout were really fun too.
Yeah, a lot of
From the
80s needle drops. But,
Yeah, Faith No
B-sides.
More.
Cult.
Yeah.
So we're back to the lowest of the catacombs.
Yep.
Yeah. So Russell Crowe is possessed, right?
Big time.
Sacrificed himself.
And he's finally getting through to him. Like they're starting to break through. He's starting to come back to life.
He's floating. Aggro, super dark-sided.
He's fighting
Crow.
the demon, and then these two women reveal themselves and start to seduce the two.
One
and
of them
distract
comes out
the
of
two
an Iron Maiden.
priests. Yes.
Completely naked, dripping in red blood.
Yes.
And so there's some bumping and grinding that proceeds to happen. And of course, it's like these sexy ladies must be defeated, right? They are
gotta
not
get
to
rid
be
of 'em.
trusted. They are
No.
going to be the downfall.
Yeah.
And so, the first one, can anyone remember why she starts like catching on fire?
He used one of the ex machina trinkets.
Oh, yeah.
Like pushed it against her
That's
forehead.
right.
I just really wanted, before we move too far past this, to just really lock in on the picture here. This is like late period Ed Wood that we're watching right here. Like we've got X-rated, triple X-rated. Like it's a nudie picture and it's horror.
It's everything.
I mean, it's everything, and it's like zombies rising from the graves. I mean, I am beside myself. It is it's so ridiculous.
And Russell Crowe.
fun.
Russell
I mean,
Crowe's just levitating his ass off in the middle of everything with pentagrams burning all around him.
It's so true. It's so true.
I mean, it truly, Ed Wood is.
Thank you,
is
Zach. Now I
so
like it so much
pleased.
better. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that description.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we have this amulet that's being pressed into the dripping blood naked lady's forehead, and she starts to writhe and blister,
Yes.
and her skin and the whole thing just blisters up, and she explodes in like a whole rainbow of pus and blood.
And the effects are good. Like,
Yeah.
they're good.
It was shocking.
There's a lot of CG, but I'm like...
That
you know,
moment got me. That
Yeah.
was like a clappable, like we started applause because it's so perfect.
We applauded like that was the fucking Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
I think, and I don't believe I'm alone. We all thought we were going to like a Saban film.
Really shitty.
Bond
And
film,
we
yeah.
came to a Sony Screen Gems
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
so it had
I
a
was
little bit of money to play
I was
with.
expecting like peppermint quality, but this was like, oh my god, this was like better than Zemeckis.
Yeah. Well, that's not saying
Well,
much.
and then there was just to bring it back to the second
yes.
woman that her I think her end was less shocking, like less brilliant.
Yeah.
But she's writhing around and like imploding somehow, and for a minute her face flashes into a spider face.
Yes.
That was a big note I wrote down, was spider face.
Spider face.
Yeah, I love this like spider goddess. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I was pleased to see her.
And then they're done. Russell Crowe takes out his whiskey again.
Then they're gone, and the women are dead, and they're safe.
Yeah, the women are dead now. All is well, and then they return. They return to Rome, and there's like a section where it tries to set up a franchise.
No, this is an X-Men ending.
Yeah.
Or sorry, this is a Marvel ending.
Yeah.
This is absolutely
the black priest that shows up should have had an eye patch because this was the future franchise.
They're like, you did the great work. Now let's show you some secrets.
Now listen, Father Amorth, there was 200 angels that got banished to hell, and you got one, so we got the 199 left.
199 movies in the expanded universe.
But it was kind of incredible because they're walking through this. They have a whole library.
Explain this fucking.
If I may, 'cause this is kind of a crouton, and it's
this is definitely a crouton. Crouton City.
We're invited into a Catholic secret lab library.
Oh my God.
And there's a lot of people hard at work.
Beehive of
But
there's a lot of activity,
But aren't they
folks.
dissecting all the relics from the house?
Yes.
From the abbey?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And by the way,
there are like 30 extras, and they're all doing a lot of work.
There's a lot
on screen at once.
Yeah. There's a lot of investigation going through relics and artifacts. And by the way, Russell Crowe and George Santos have just arrived. They've just arrived.
Yes.
So I don't understand what the hell is going on with the timeline here.
Yeah.
How did all these things arrive from the Abbey? And by the way, the other like head cardinal priest guy is saying like the boy made it back to America and he's doing fine now.
Yeah.
And like, so
They wrapped that whole
everything you
family
want.
thing up real quick.
Super
Just
tight.
everything you want. We never saw the family again.
They like drove
They're
off
doing
in a
great.
Ford Festiva, and that was it.
It did not offend me.
No,
Somehow it
very
did not offend me.
I did not want
very
to.
pleased.
I did not want to see them again in my life.
No.
Yeah, they were
Gone
fine.
with you.
being
Be
gone.
gone with you.
When they were basically like, Father Amorth, you're going to need to be in a ton of sequels. And he's like, I'm too old to be in all of them. But if I bring my pal here, we can conquer all these movies together. Then it was over and the crowd erupted in applause. They were like ready. Like if they were like, guess what? The Pope's Exorcist Part 2, Papal Boogaloo is starting right now.
Yeah.
Everybody would stay put.
And yet, I have just a small button live rewrite.
Ooh,
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Lucas, do you bless this live rewrite?
Oh, hell yes.
All right.
Zach,
Okay.
go for
Just
it.
it is just merely for because I really liked this ending. I really liked what it was doing. It's just the last shot.
Yeah.
And because the crowd was so pumped, the crowd was ready for a cinematic universe of
Yes.
sequels.
Absolutely.
But what a missed opportunity to not see him like in slow motion driving away
On
with
his
the
Vespa. He was walking.
That's all I wanted.
Yes.
Larry Crown
And
for you.
and what I would have liked, that's exactly right, Brother Lucas. I would have liked his buddy priest holding on to his shoulders.
Oh my
as well.
God.
And you hear,
Oh
and you hear devil inside, devil inside.
There we go. That's
Hell
the
yes.
library right.
Hell
Oh,
yes.
man.
Cheers.
Hell.
100.
All right, let's go there, Father Amorth Bones. Oh, who in this rogues gallery will be first to bone? Justin, you're first to bone.
First to bone.
What an honor. Sometimes less is a mort.
Oh.
But today, I couldn't have asked for more because this just fucking brought it.
Yeah.
To the point where, I don't say this lightly, I'm starting to question our reality. Because every fucking movie we've been to this year is like a great time. The audience is loving it. We're loving it. Everybody's laughing.
It's the 80 for Brady syndrome.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's fucking Sally Field in a hot wing eating contest with Guy Fieri. And we're like, fuck yeah, this rules.
Oh, if Guy Fieri had been down in those catacombs, like as a keymaster, forget about it.
It's the love and light that we're bringing to everything that I'm basking in.
Hell yeah.
It's the warm embrace of the Lord in every cinematic experience. And I don't know what to do with that information.
Just enjoy it. It's not promised. Shit's gonna turn. Lucas is gonna start getting upset again.
Are we gonna fucking walk out of Renfield going like, guys, 4 bones. I don't know what's going on.
No, I think
that was delightful.
I think the trick is we don't see Renfield. Seriously.
Yeah, smart.
I'm gonna see it.
My only criticism of this, honestly, is that I really wanted to see Evil Dead Rise next week. And I got too much of, you're going to go to hell. I have your soul. I'm like, all right, I fucking did that already this week. I don't know.
That was scary.
Yeah. So
you're going to have to cleanse the palate steadily throughout this week to get ready for it.
Or study and watch them all. Like everyone else is studying these days.
Right.
I just show up knowing nothing. But man, we've come a long way from the Devil and Father Amorth.
Oh, 5 years.
Which I barely remember. I remember the camera wasn't on for that one scene, and I remember I ate some Skittles, and that's literally it.
Yeah.
So I think this one's going to stick with me for a lot longer. This was a great time at the cinema. I can't. There's 3 bones.
Yeah.
I can't fucking believe it, but that's what happened.
Yes, Justin. Yes.
I'm not going to try to rewrite history on the fly to maintain some kind of dignity.
No.
As 3-bone cinematic experience.
It could be the new Amorth line. We'll see. We will see.
I took that Father Amorth line and fucking snorted it and had a great time at this movie.
All right. Let's go to Sister Debbie. I'm very curious. Very curious.
Yeah. I'm still processing, but I also had a blast. I think we were probably 20 minutes in when I leaned over to Lodge Master and I said, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you're like, I really like this movie.
I was not prepared to like it as much as I did, which I think is somewhat of a consensus.
Yes.
And I said before we went into the theater, I was really sensitive to references to witchcraft. It was something that happened in the 1973 Exorcist.
Where they conflate witchcraft.
They conflate witchcraft with Satan worship, and it's just something that rubs me the wrong way. So in the end, I got a little fussy with these evil women being portrayed.
Sure.
But honestly, Zach's Ed Wood reference and this playful gratuitousness suddenly shifted my perspective, and now I like it a lot.
It lights up the catacombs.
And then when you think about a Brother Ben bump,
and
you put that into the equation, I am at a solid 3.5.
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Oh, shit.
I know. I had so much fun, you guys. Maybe I just like you all a lot, though.
So that's 3 with a Brother Ben bump.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
I love it. Okay.
I love a demon, too. It was a great time.
Shit. What is going on in this Edge tonight?
Asmodeus is with us.
All right, let's see. Bishke's real quiet, so I'm a little worried about him. We're going to hold on to him for a second. But we're going to go all the way back to the trunk.
I'm still here.
Brother Lucas, what say you? What decree you?
Oh, man. First, I just want to preface this by saying that audience and Theater 13 experience is 4 bones. Again,
Yes.
It's another 4-bone
Meaty 4 bones
experience just to be in the real world with that kind of energy. I mean, I know we've kind of joked about theaters being back, but tonight it really felt like theaters were back.
Like it, yeah.
Because there was just so much love and light just bursting in all directions. Like that energy carried over into the movie. So when it started, it just kept building and building and building. And everything I was seeing, it was just hitting the bullseye.
I heard you laughing. I'm like, when I can hear Lucas laughing above everyone else, that's a good sign.
It's a very good sign. And I mean, on paper and in the trailer of this, it seems like such a joke, and it kind of is, but it's not, because Russell Crowe is so dialed in.
He's committed.
Totally committed to Father Amorth, and speaking Italian constantly. I was just dumbfounded. And yeah, his little moments with asking for a double espresso, and then everyone in the theater laughs, and
they were busting a fucking gut over that.
Yeah.
He's like, sugar is the devil's work.
Yeah, and then when it kind of turns into like Indiana Bones and they go into the catacombs, I'm like, yes. Like I want booby traps. I want like, hallucinations where there's like a virgin mother levitating, and
People lost their shit when that happened.
We thought it was sincere, and then it turns into a trap, which was genius.
The ultimate booby trap.
So I could definitely see 666 more of these sequels. And to borrow what Brother Justin was saying, like there were so many Brother Ben bumps in this movie. It was like a line. It was like a Brother Ben line. So much love and light. So I'm gonna also give this 3 bones.
But no Brother Ben bump.
It was like 2, but like then it got Brother Ben bump to like 2.5. Then it got Brother Ben bump to like 3 when that girl exploded.
So Brother Ben double bump.
Double bump.
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
Amazing. Unprecedented as well. Brother Lucas gave it 3 bones. I'm worried about Bishki. Bishki's like when the demon child was like docile for a little bit, and he's like, you don't know if he's just sleeping, but then his eyes slowly open up.
He's creeping up my arm.
I don't know what he's doing.
Demon 198 Payman, the trickster demon, is in the edge.
We're gonna go to Brother Zach.
I mean, you know what else can we say here? The Devil and Father Amorth holds such a special place in my heart as a listener of this podcast.
Yes.
I really felt like we were going to come to a dud tonight.
Right. We were going to have to artificially enhance it.
Yeah. And what I wasn't expecting, I was like, whoa, look at all this, the crane moves and like look at that fucking crazy ass production design going on in this movie.
Gorgeous.
I mean, I just started going like, wait a minute, what are we watching here? And then we settled in and I'm like, oh, we're going to be here for the rest of the time.
Right.
And
in the
yet,
Abbey.
I'm very pleased because I'm here with Russell as Amorth. And I mean,
and I also love that they have him show down off this kid. So we have like an actual like Rocky, versus Drago type setup.
Right.
And you're right. It really
yes, exactly.
I mean, the kid towards the end did look like he got punched in the face.
Well, the kid
a
went
few
through the
times
ringer
by a giant Russian man.
I mean, he's going to need some chamomile tea or something to just ease the throat a little bit. But I was struggling a little bit with both loving the Spanish Inquisition rewriting of this is why.
Yeah, that's rough.
All these children have been abused by the Catholic Church priests over the years, and it's the devil was let out, and and then of course we're blaming these women for being temptresses at the end.
But then one of them exploded.
When but before the explosion, I'm like, this is a fully committed 100% naked woman with blood dripping off of her, mummified, arms extended, chasing after this priest in a giant catacomb set. I'm really watching Maximum Ed Wood.
That's right.
And
Max Wood. I
was losing it. I had tears streaming down my eyes. So at one point, I was at in my head, I was like, oh, this is a very fun, solid 2.5. And then I started going, I don't know. I think it's resting on the Amorth line.
No.
And then that scene happened. And and then we got back to Rome and we got to our everyone's hard at work in the lab.
That's right.
I fuck it, man. This is a 3-bone movie.
Yes, it is. Yes, it fucking is, Zach.
It's true.
I love it.
This is what you want to watch at a sleepover with your buddies.
Yeah.
It just put it on, have some fun, and go to hell.
No one expected this kind of shit to be coming out of us tonight. Bishki.
Benissimo.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is a trickster. Come
come to say you're all high on your own supply.
No! Bisky, no!
You guys have done some evil things tonight. Laughing it up at the real demon possession.
Whoa, that's hot.
And,
I'm gonna go.
Okay, so
come on, man.
With documentaries, I'm always learning something. William Friedkin taught us a lot in Devil and Father Amorth, and so I, that one, not technically sound, had a lot to teach us.
The sound wasn't sound either.
No, but so everyone laughed, scoffed at me for giving that 2 bones, and I stand by it, and I will never watch the film again, but I stand by it. but with narrative films, like you've seen so many, and sometimes I've seen this before, and so I have love and light for Russell Crowe. But I have even more love and light for him in Unhinged, where I gave him 2.5 bones.
Oh no!
I feel like we all need to start praying to get the demon out.
You gotta be relentless with your prayer to get the bones up.
Amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb.
Do it in Latin. Do it in Latin.
Latin works better.
Ensalada dragundo.
It's working. It's working.
The trickster.
The power of the salad dragon.
Russell Crowe's Father Amorth, I gave it 2 bones.
Let it rest on the line.
I cannot. I just cannot.
Bringing it right down to the line.
In the catacombs we go.
Utah, give me 2.
Bishki, come on. Okay. I will give the demon Bishkimodius, his due, in that people might get this on VOD at home and watch it and be like, what the fuck was the Lodgecast talking about? Because we did see it with the ultimate audience.
Right.
And that has a lot to do with it. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, a wild electric audience is a win that will enter all sales.
Our expectations were also 0.
Right. And you don't have to figure expectations into your bone counts. Lord knows we all bring different criteria to what gives us our bone count. Brother Lucas being, infamous for his Old Testament reasonings. But for me, longtime listeners will know I take expectations fully into consideration. And I thought this was going to be such dog shit. Brother Zach, you nailed it. I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, it's great that we're all together and we're remembering Lodgecasts of old. But this is going to be a real stinker, and we're not going to really have anything to say about it. It's neither going to be here nor there. But it was there, y'all.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fucking fun.
I had a blast, and I just loved the whole ride of it. I was nodding along. I was nodding along to the needle drops. I was nodding along to just how it was building. I was nodding and smiling every time Sister Debbie took a note. And it was a blast. So to honor Brother Bishki, I will say it's about a 2.5, but I'm going to do the holiest of Brother Ben bumps right up to 3.
It's a Brother Ben bump, y'all.
That's the Pope's Exorcist, y'all.
Now, what did it say? What did it say at the very beginning? There was a quote that I found to be very instructive.
It was something about
when you laugh, when you don't believe. That's when the devil
is happiest.
Is happiest because he's right there with you. And I feel like we could apply that.
Yes.
To this whole episode of the Lodgecast because
absolutely.
We didn't expect it. And the devil was there to take full advantage of that situation. and Brother Bishki is saying, not so fast, demon.
Right. He's holding steadfast.
You're not going to enter through me.
And the rest of us just said, let's go.
We will be your conduit.
That's correct.
Happy hosts.
We absolutely caught the vapors tonight.
Oh,
yeah, if this is what happens when you worship Satan, I'm going to go invest in a pet goat.
Yes. Well, Sister Debbie, Brother Zach, and Brother Justin, thank you so much for entering the catacombs with us tonight.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
What an unexpected delight. Brother Bishki, Stay strong.
You talk. Give me 2.
Love and light.
Love and light.
Can I call this living? Letting the world take me out of my mind with such heavy burdens. It's hard for one to think sometimes. I'm so down with depression, but ain't no use in me killing myself with your values gone. In this world there's hardly nothing left. Sweet, sweet, such restlessness, such emphasis, sweet exorcist. Woman, I love you.
Have some fun and, go to hell.